Welcome back to How Not to Summon a Demon Lord anime review, episode number 7. This is reviewing the 4th episode of season 2, which is also the 17th episode of the series. Yes, 17th episode. Actually, 16 episodes, called Personal Domain. Yeah, I'm taking a guess exactly how much this this episode, book 5. I'd say it probably depths roughly about the first 3 chapters because it goes through like a lot of stuff pretty quickly. Like, it seems as though they were just simply just going through the paces with this one. It's not a terrible episode per se. No, it actually goes through like stuff pretty quickly. Like, episode starts off like not long after the events of last week's episode, where you have Diablo's group just walk into the desert and on the way to his dungeon. They don't know it's his dungeon. Then, of course, then Lamborghini shows up, basically demanding exactly what the heck is going on with their troops. And then, of course, he gets away because he didn't want to surrender. Because he mentions that he's a demon lord from another world. Though he mentioned about the whole thing about what happened last week's episode with this demon lord that woke up from his slumber. And he's probably thinking, this is for Vargas, he's thinking, like, who the heck is that? He has no idea who the heck that is. And he's not that, he can't say he's not that demon lord, probably the other ones. Then he just basically causes the ground to shake all around him except for where he's standing. So basically his group just run off. They spend the night at Horn's special place, this shipwreck ship in the middle of the desert. Eat some food, and of course, Rem and Shira want him to eat some of their meat, even though they've already taken a bite of it. He preferred not to because it's an indirect kiss, which I kind of thought was funny. And then the very next day, it looked like the very next day, but according to Diablo, actually was Horn to this, it took 4 days for him to get there. Meanwhile, though, Lemurkina gets a visit from a paladin. Which paladin? Oh, it's the one from the first episode of the season. Garthorth. Yep. He says, oh yeah, I have a message from the church. And he's like, oh yeah, the head priest. Oh yeah, he's shooting off with a demon lord. And he's probably thinking, oh crap, not that guy again. He's like, you familiar? Yeah, I'm familiar with him. But they'll go further here because for Lamborghini, there's one other time she briefly appears in the episode, roughly a very brief flashback, where she basically she's up in the air using her crimson wings, according to Diablo, and it looked like she could snipe them from that high up. Nope, she just chooses not to. Yep. And then they arrive at his dungeon, and they come across the first trap, a sentient gargoyle. Well, a statue gargoyle, that is. Diablo destroys it, go through the thing, no problem. And then they get in there, and then they come across like about 3 different challenges over the course of this episode. I believe the first one was the Labyrinth, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, the Labyrinth, which Diablo just blasts the walls, no problem. And of course, found various monsters, a couple different floors. One challenge involves going to go over a volcanic pit, which every time they get an answer wrong, they have to shed their clothing. And at one point, I think that the girls were down to just their panties, and Horn didn't lose any clothes at all. But lucky enough that Lamborghini got the last answer right, basically mentioned by the legendary dragon being the largest creature in the monster book. For her, it's probably just a guess. Legendary dragon is probably the biggest one, which, yep, and they get out no problem. And then the last challenge before the end of the episode is basically a song and dance routine. Yep. Or Diablo teaches them very quickly over the course of like 2 minutes, just teaching this very quick routine. And then they do it. And these giant apes, basically, they refer to them as jaguars, even though they look like apes. They look like white gorillas. And you have to refer to these things as jaguars. That makes no freaking sense at all. But that's what I look at. They look like freaking white apes. And they do form, and they go down, and of course they went encore, and like, nah, we're not doing it again. And that's when they come up more monsters. Well, actually, that's when they come up two giant worms. Yes, Garthor is here, and he really wants to take the head priest so badly. Lucky enough, Horn basically tackles over the course of a cliff. Diablo, not losing, Horn as a valuable ally, just decides to it tells Rem and Shira, go and protect Lamborghini, take her to the next floor. I'll get Horn. That's the episode ends. There's also a couple funny bits here where the girls are surrounding Diablo, and he basically is getting embarrassed by it. Like, first time is when Shira basically shoves his arm into her chest, or when all three girls basically trying to go to him when they're all like hot over the hot pit, which I thought was kind of hilarious. But otherwise, this was a pretty fun episode. Yeah, it feels like they kind of breezed through the first three chapters of book 5. But hey, I think they captured like a lot of the highlights of the book. I'm guessing at that because it's been a bit since I've read the book. But definitely look like in book 5 because book 5 is all about the dungeon. Yep. Oh, and by the way, the entrance to the actual dungeon itself, completely accurate to how it's depicted in the light novel. So good job for the anime for doing that. Yeah, it's basically almost like a pyramid with a gargoyle in the front. That is completely accurate to how it's depicted in the manga. Next week's episode looks like we're going to get the anime debut of Rose, Diablo's maid. Yep, looking forward to that. So yeah, that's it for particular view. Next view, Comic Corner, okay? See you next video. Bye.